Close your eyes. Imagine a beautiful princess. She pricks her finger on a spinning wheel. She falls into an enchanted sleep. A handsome prince finds her. He kisses her gently. She wakes up. They fall in love. They live happily ever after. This is the story Disney told you. This is the story your parents read to you. This is the story the world wants you to believe. But it is a lie. A carefully constructed lie, built to hide something so disturbing that it was erased from history. Are you ready to know what really happened? Because the truth will change everything you thought you knew about fairy tales. In 1634, an Italian poet named Giambattista Basile published a collection of stories. Among them was a tale called Sun, Moon, and Talia. This was the original Sleeping Beauty, but in Basile's version, there is no kiss, no gentle awakening, no love at first sight. There is only violation, assault, and consequences that no one could imagine. The story begins with a king and queen who desperately want a child. After years of trying, they finally have a daughter. They name her Talia. She is beautiful, perfect, their greatest joy. But the wise men and astrologers deliver a terrible prophecy. The child will be placed in great danger by a splinter of flax. The king is horrified. He immediately bans all flax from the kingdom. No spinning wheels, no thread, no fabric made from flax. He believes he can protect her. He believes he can change fate. He is wrong. Years pass. Talia grows into a stunning young woman. One day, she sees an old woman spinning at a window. She has never seen a spinning wheel before. She is fascinated. She approaches. She asks to try. The woman agrees. Talia takes the distaff. She begins to spin. A splinter of flax pierces her finger. She falls to the ground, unconscious, unmoving. Not dead, but not alive either. Suspended in a state between. The king finds his daughter collapsed. He cannot wake her. Physicians examine her. They find no poison, no illness, no explanation. She simply will not wake. The king is devastated. He cannot bear to bury his living daughter. He cannot bear to watch her eternal sleep. So he makes a decision. He carries Talia to one of his remote country estates. He places her on a velvet bed in a locked room. He closes the doors. He leaves. He abandons his daughter in an empty palace, locked away from the world, alone, sleeping, unprotected. And then he tries to forget. Years pass. The palace sits empty, overgrown with vines, forgotten by everyone, except fate. One day, a king from a neighboring realm is hunting in the forest. His falcon escapes. It flies toward the abandoned palace. He follows. He finds the building. The doors are locked, but he is a king. He forces his way inside. He explores room after room. Dust covers everything. Silence fills the halls. Then he finds her, Talia, still sleeping on the velvet bed, still beautiful after all these years, unchanged by time. He approaches. He looks at her. He sees her beauty, her vulnerability, her complete helplessness. And something awakens in him. Not love, not compassion, something darker. He tries to wake her. He calls to her. He shakes her gently. Nothing. She does not respond. She cannot respond. She is trapped in her eternal sleep, completely defenseless, completely vulnerable, completely alone with him. And the king does not leave. He does not seek help. He does not protect her. Instead, he does something unforgivable. Basile writes it clearly. The king gathers the first fruits of love. He carries her to the bed. He takes what he wants from her sleeping body. She cannot consent. She cannot resist. She cannot even know it is happening. And when he is finished, he leaves. He abandons her just as her father did. He returns to his own kingdom, to his own wife, to his own life. He does not think about consequences. He does not think about the girl he violated. He simply forgets. And Talia sleeps on, unaware, alone, violated. But the story does not end there, because 9 months later, still sleeping, Talia gives birth, not to one child, but to twins, a boy and a girl, born to a mother who does not know they exist, born in an empty palace with no midwife, no help, no one. How do they survive? Basile explains. Fairies attend the birth, magical beings who care for the infants, who place them at their mother's breast. The babies nurse. They grow. And one day, one of the twins cannot find the nipple. The baby sucks on Talia's finger instead, the finger with the splinter. The baby draws out the flax, and Talia wakes. She opens her eyes. She sees 2 infants beside her. She has no memory of pregnancy, no memory of labor, no memory of birth. She only knows that she fell asleep, and now she has children. She names them Sun and Moon. She cares for them as best she can in the empty palace, confused, alone. A mother to children she never chose to have. Meanwhile, the king remembers. He decides to return, to see what became of the beautiful, sleeping girl he violated. He arrives at the palace. He finds Talia awake. He finds the twins. He realizes what happened. And his reaction? He is delighted. He sees this as a love story. He sees the children as proof of their bond. He feels no shame, no guilt, no understanding of what he has done. He visits regularly. He brings gifts. He acts as if they are a family, as if what happened was romance instead of rape. But he never stays long, because he has a wife, a queen back in his own kingdom, and she is growing suspicious. She notices his absences. She follows him. She discovers Talia and the children, and she is furious. Not at her husband, not at the man who violated an unconscious woman. No, she blames Talia. The queen orders her cook to kill the children, to prepare them as a meal, to serve them to the king. The cook cannot do it. He hides the children. He serves lamb instead. The queen eats. The king eats. Neither knows. Then the queen orders Talia brought to the palace. She plans to burn her alive. She has an enormous fire prepared. She commands Talia to undress, to remove each garment slowly. Talia obeys. She removes her dress. The queen throws it into the flames. She removes her petticoat into the fire. One by one, each piece of clothing burns. The queen wants Talia to suffer, to understand, to die slowly. Just as the last garment is about to be removed, the king arrives. He sees what is happening. He demands an explanation. The queen reveals everything: her jealousy, her attempted murder of the children, her plan to burn Talia alive. The king is horrified. Not because of what he did to Talia, not because of the violation, not because of the assault. No. He is horrified that his wife tried to kill his children. So he has the queen thrown into the fire instead. She burns alive, screaming. Then he marries Talia. the woman he violated while she slept. The mother of children she never consented to bear. And they live happily ever after. This is the original story. This is what Basile wrote. This is what was considered acceptable, even romantic, in 1634. Why? Because in medieval aristocratic society, consent was not a concept that applied to women, especially not to women in positions of vulnerability. Medieval canon law had complex rules about consent, but they applied primarily to marriage contracts, to property transfers, to political alliances. A woman's consent to what happened to her body? That was barely considered. Aristocratic men believed they had rights over any woman they encountered, rights granted by birth, by title, by gender. These rights superseded everything, including consciousness, including choice, including basic humanity. There are documented cases throughout medieval history. Lords exercising droit du seigneur, the supposed right to sleep with any woman on their lands. Nobles assaulting servants without consequence. Kings taking whatever they wanted. Historians debate whether droit du seigneur was legally codified, but the practice existed. The assumption of access existed. The belief that aristocratic men could not be refused, could not commit assault. Because assault required that the victim had rights, and in their worldview, these women had none. Basile's story reflects this reality. The king sees a beautiful, unconscious woman. He takes what he wants. He faces no consequences. He is not the villain. The jealous wife is the villain. The woman who objects, the woman who demands accountability. She is the monster who must burn. Talia has no agency in her own story. She is an object, a beautiful thing to be used, first by the curse, then by her father who abandons her, then by the king who violates her, then by the queen who tries to kill her, finally by the narrative itself, which frames her violation as romance, which frames her assault as love, which gives her no choice, no voice, no justice. When the story reached France, it changed. In 1697, Charles Perrault published his version. He removed the assault, he removed the pregnancy, he added the kiss. The prince kisses her, she wakes, they fall in love with proper courtship. They marry before anything else happens. Perrault sanitized it, made it appropriate for the French court, made it something closer to romance. But traces of the original remained. The princess still sleeps helplessly, still has no agency, still is acted upon rather than acting. Then came the Brothers Grimm in 1812. They sanitized it further, made it safe for children, made the prince noble and pure, made everything proper and chaste. But they kept the core problem, a woman with no consciousness, no choice, no power, saved by a man, defined by a man, given worth only through a man. Finally came Disney in 1959. They transformed it completely. Aurora is 16. She meets the prince before she sleeps. They fall in love while she is awake, conscious, choosing. The kiss that wakes her is from someone she knows, someone she loves, someone she chose. Disney erased the assault, erased the violation, erased the horror, and created a story about true love, about consent, about choice. But they never acknowledged what they erased, never explained why the original had to change, never admitted that the story they built their empire on began with rape. The original tale reveals something terrifying about the past, about how recently women were viewed as objects, about how recently assault was romanticized, about how recently these things were considered acceptable. Sun, Moon, and Talia was published in 1634, less than 400 years ago. That is not ancient history. That is 13 generations. Your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother lived in that world. The world where this story was entertainment, where a king violating an unconscious woman was the setup for romance, where the real villain was the wife who objected, where the happy ending was the rapist marrying his victim. We like to think we have evolved, that we have progressed, that those dark days are behind us. But the original stories remain, hidden in old books, erased from common knowledge, replaced with sanitized versions. We tell children about true love's kiss. We do not tell them about true love's assault. We show them the Disney version. We do not show them the Basile version. We let them believe in magic and romance. We do not let them know the truth, that the story began with violation, that the princess had no choice, that for most of history, women's consent did not matter. Perhaps that is necessary. Perhaps children should not know these things. Perhaps the sanitized versions protect innocence. Or perhaps they erase important lessons. Perhaps they hide the reality of history. Perhaps they make us forget how recently things were so much worse. The next time you see Sleeping Beauty, remember. Remember what Disney erased. Remember what came before the kiss. Remember the woman who woke to children she never chose. Remember the king who faced no consequences. Remember the queen who burned for objecting. Remember that this was considered romance, that this was considered love, that this was considered acceptable. And remember that we changed it, that we recognized it as wrong, that we demanded better stories, better messages, better treatment of women, even in fairy tales, especially in fairy tales. Because the stories we tell matter. The messages we send matter. The history we remember or forget matters. Sun, Moon, and Talia still exists in libraries, in academic texts, in the historical record. Disney cannot erase it completely. They can only cover it, only hide it, only hope you never look deeper. But now you know. Now you have looked deeper. Now you cannot unknow what the prince really did, what the original story really was. What they had to erase to sell you magic. And that knowledge changes everything, because some truths cannot be kissed away. Some histories cannot be forgotten. Some stories, once known, can never be unknown. And the most disturbing part? This is just one fairy tale. Just one story they sanitized. Just one darkness they hid. How many others are there? How many more horrifying origins have been erased? How many more truths have been replaced with pretty lies? The answer will terrify you.